Hi everyone, welcome back. This is Crystal with Emerson Aurora Design, and today I'm going to show you how I make my black opal Milky Way tumbler. I'm going to start off with a 30-ounce modern curved tumbler that I purchased from the Stainless Depot. This is a hog tumbler. I did sand it, wash it, and prep it with black paint, and you can see that it isn't the best coverage of spray. But that was something that I did on purpose. I thought that maybe it would give kind of a variant base color for my glitter. Ultimately, it didn't really matter. My glitter just covered the tumbler really well, so I don't think you can really tell if it's full black or has some stainless in it. Anyway, I am putting on a layer of resin here. I'm doing the resin epoxy method of applying my glitter. Usually I do a really thin layer of resin for this step when applying glitter, but today I'm going to apply multiple layers of chunky glitter, and I really wanted a little bit extra resin to really help that glitter lay flat. I'm going to torch it a little, heat it up so that that resin will smooth itself out. And I'm using a whole bunch of glitter on this. I wanted it to really have a lot of depth and color shift. So I'm using a combination of chameleon style glitters with color shift. I'm using chunkier ones. I'm using fine. I'm using all different colors that you could find in a black opal. Yes, I did look up a natural black opal, and it seems to have a lot of blues, purples, even some bright green and pink. So I'm going ahead and choosing those glitters. So I'm just randomly sprinkling that glitter on the tumbler. I want to get complete full coverage, so there's no rhyme or reason of how I'm sprinkling these on, just whatever I think looks good. I will leave a list of these glitters that I'm using and where you could purchase them in the description box below with some links. I love doing this type of glitter, this type of tumbler, because I get to just go crazy and pick out any colors I like on my glitter wall. So it's just really fun for me. And this is a good way to experiment with how some glitters look on a black base also. This glitter here is one of my favorite colors. It's absolutely beautiful. It's called Deadly Nightshade. It's like purple and blue and pink. It's really pretty. So I'm allowing that glitter to kind of fall on that paper, and I'm sure you'll think, why is she wasting that glitter? But I'm not. I'm making a little mix at the bottom so that I can cover the bottom of my cup with a mixture of these glitters. And really it's not wasting much because most of the glitter that I sprinkle does stick to that cup. So I'm just filling in all the spots. I want to make sure that I get really good coverage on this. I'm just filling in the spaces with this black Onyx glitter. It's a really fine glitter, and it's just going to fill in the spaces between the chunkies. And it's always a good idea to do a mixture of chunky and fine. It seems to give you more of a depth. You can see more of a depth when you do it that way. This one's also a real fine holographic purple pink. It's really pretty. So I'm just going in and adding more of the same glitters, kind of layering them on top of the first layer, um, making sure to cover all of that resin. It is a little bit of a thicker layer, so this helps it to give you some depth and to add just more glitter. I'm going to go in here in just a few minutes and I'm going to squish all that chunky glitter down flat to the cup. So I'm going to collect all that glitter into a little pile and I'm going to cover the bottom of the cup. It's just a mix, so it works out well. A little mixture of all those glitters together. I'm going to save this little mixture of glitter to use on a different tumbler later because it did make a really pretty kind of a dump cup. All of these colors go really well together. So now I'm going to take a little piece of parchment paper and I'm just going to squish my glitter down flat. This will help later on with the other top layers of resin, so you don't get any big chunks sticking up through your resin. And because I added so much resin, some of the glitter did come up with that. Not too much, but just a little bit. And I'm going to go in and add just a little bit more sprinkling of glitter to cover those the resin that may have peeked through and pulled up some of that glitter, because I don't want any openings. You can kind of see I'm just using my little dump cup to do this, just to fill in those little spaces that where the glitter may have came up with that parchment paper. And this time I'm going to go in with a gloved hand just to pat those little pieces dry so that I don't pull up any more glitter. Make sure when you're doing this to pat around the rim and around that bottom rim also, so that you don't get any pokey spots, and you won't have to put as many layers of resin later. So this is the close-up of the glitters that I used on the tumbler. Like I said, I'll leave the links for the glitter below. They're so pretty. So once this layer of the glitter sets up, I do put 2 layers of clear resin on. It's a close-up of after the 2 layers of resin are on. And on to the next step. So I'm adding a layer of clear resin because we're going to do a mica swirl over this. So you want to add a base layer of clear resin before you start your mica swirls with the colors. It gives the mica swirls something to move around on. And you can add, I'm probably doing about the same amount of resin, pretty close, about the same amount of resin as I used to apply the glitter. I didn't want to add a full flood coat because I don't really want the micas to move around too much, and you'll see why here in just a few minutes how I apply this mica. So I'm just giving it a good coat. It's so pretty under resin, isn't it? All those glitters, oh, they're so cool. Glitter always looks so different under resin, and I love the sparkle. So here are the micas I'm using. This is Pearlex. It's like a charcoal gray. And then these 3 micas I purchased in a package from Amazon. That's like a purple, a light blue, and a bright green. So I'm going to add a little bit of these to 4 different cups of resin. So again, I'm putting on the clear layer of resin just as a base. This is sped up just a little bit. So I'm just dividing that into the 4 different cups for the different colors of resin, and I'm just doing a little bit in each cup. It's probably about 2 mLs, I would say, in each. Really, I didn't measure it out too much. I just eyeballed it because a little goes a long way with these mica swirls, and I don't like having a lot of different or leftover resin. So this is that charcoal gray. I'm just using a little scoop in there. It is, like I said, just a little bit of resin here. And mix it up really well. And the purple. The purple is really pretty. It has almost a blue shift to it. It's a pretty mica. Here's my light blue. It almost has a metallic shine to it. Micas are so pretty when they're mixed in resin. They look so different than they do in the containers. So different. Give them a try if you've never tried mica mixed in resin before. I love this bright lime green. It's going to add that bit of pop that I was looking for. So I wasn't completely happy with that charcoal gray. I wanted something a little bit darker, so I went over and I was looking for my matte black mica from Arteza, and I do find it. There it is. I'm going to mix a little bit of that with the charcoal just to give it a little bit of a darker color. So I'm going to start spreading these on the tumbler. I like to do it in the kind of in a diagonal. Don't be afraid to get your finger in there. Just make sure you're wearing gloves. I'm just smearing it on there. I'm going to do this with each color. The way that I'm doing this mica here is you definitely want to do it in that diagonal because you'll see in a minute what I'm going to do to make this really stand out. I don't want it to completely cover that glitter because, of course, I didn't go through all the trouble of putting all that glitter on to hide it. But this mica is mixed so that it is transparent, and then that glitter peeks through, just like in a real black opal. I don't really want this to move too much on the tumbler. So I'm going to give it a little bit of heat and pop any bubbles that there may be there with my torch. And already you can see how that glitter's sparkling through the colors. It's just really pretty. But we're going to do something pretty neat. I wasn't sure 100% what I wanted to do at this point. I was going to let it cure and then maybe do the Dawn dish soap method with black over, but I just couldn't bring myself to cover it. So then I started playing around with my little stainless stir stick that I mix my epoxy with, and I'm going to run it through the resin in the opposite direction that I did my micas. So I'm going to keep doing this, and at first I wasn't so sure, but then I decided, you know what, I'm just going to keep going. And the more that I pushed this through and added more lines to it, it started having, creating this really neat effect. Kind of almost reminds me of like a peacock feather. I'll get a close-up of it here in a minute. It's hard to describe, but going against the grain of those mica powders, it just pulls the mica powders in a different angle, and it just makes a really neat effect that I was really happy with. Here I'm kind of pausing to contemplate if I like it or not. But then I'm just like, oh, heck with it. And I go for it, and it ends up looking really neat. So now I'm just going for it. I'm just going to keep almost like doing hatch marks in it against the grain. And you can see how that design kind of taking shape. And I was really happy with it. And as it cures, it really doesn't change much from this. Here's a close-up. Once this layer is completely cured, I do go in and give it a good sanding and then add one more layer of resin for the final look of this. I can't think of my words. But you can see those designs. I don't know. It's really unique and pretty, and I think it looks really cool. And here she is all finished. Let me know what you guys think. Should I do a layer of the Dawn dish soap in black over top or leave this? I just think it's pretty with the mica and the glitters and the little design. I was happy with it. It reminds me of a black opal with all the different colors shifting. Give this a try, guys. You know, there's no right or wrong to do art. And you may not be happy with it, but if you post it, I'm telling you, people will love your work. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch my video. I really appreciate it. Give me a like, hit me a comment, and hit that subscribe button. Happy crafting, everyone.